Hey, David,
Hey,
wanted
Vince.
to dive right in with the goalies. Do you have a decision yet? And just in terms of the pros, the reasons to start each guy. Igor obviously won three in a row. Georgie has a track record against the Islanders. Does that make that about as tough of a goalie decision as you've had so far this season?
Yeah, it is a tough decision. We'll all find out about it tomorrow night. So it isn't an easy one. I'll tell you that. Shesty obviously is in a little bit of a role. Georgie hasn't played in a little while, and he's played very well against the Islanders. So the decision that is made was about 51-49. So there wasn't one 100% clear decision.
Hey David, after Thursday's game, Strome talked about staying away from the internet and only focusing on what the coaching staff is saying, and that has allowed him to kind of zero into the game as of late. What have you seen from him since his slow start, and how imperative are his contributions to the success of that second line?
Well, I loved his effort the other night. You know, that line was really good the other night. All three of those guys played well, and Stromer did a lot of good things. And even when he made mistakes, I loved his effort after it. And that whole line. I mean, obviously, we talked about Capo's game, which arguably might have been his best game as a Ranger. I thought Brett had a really good night. Stromer had a good night. They played at a pace throughout most of the game, and when they do that, that's going to be a really good line for us.
Afternoon, Coach. One of the things we tend to forget about you was that you were a first-round draft pick, but it seems like you have an affinity for the Rooneys and the Blackwells and somehow get the most out of them. What is it about their traits that you can relate to and that you appreciate so much?
Well, one thing that you try to do as a coach is you let your eye test decide who's going to play and who's going to get opportunity. And listen, I understand that there's a lot of talented players in this league that get drafted high, and you need to give them chances to develop and play. But at the end of the day, you also got to reward people for doing things the right way, bringing an effort day in and day out. And this game is so effort driven. Not that all the other sports aren't, but ours is played in such a small space and with big people and such a pace that, boy, great effort can overcome talent. And you have to have talent. Please don't get me wrong. We fully understand that, but when guys are coming night in and night out, giving it their all, shift in and shift out, it's infectious. And those two guys in particular, have done a really good job since they've been here, and they've earned their opportunity. It hasn't been given to them. They've earned what they've gotten.
In terms of Alexis Lafreniere navigating these first weeks of his NHL career, have you seen some intangibles, some elements of his personality and work ethic that really impressed you as he started his career?
Yeah, I mean, this kid doesn't have a bad day. I love his passion. He doesn't get down on himself. He's willing to learn. All the things you look for in a young player who's got that much talent. I mean, he really wants to get better. He loves his teammates. He's got this infectious personality that's fun to be around. So, when you add all that up, like I said, he's got a chance to be a real special player.
David, when faceoffs came up a week or so ago, you mentioned that you guys track them differently than the NHL, but what we look at is the NHL stats, obviously, and they have you guys under 42%, second to last in the league. So how much of a concern is that, and what are you guys doing to try to remedy that?
Well, when I tell you ours is different, I'm not telling you we're 62%, but it is a little bit better than that from our end of it, but certainly not good enough. So, there's so many things that go into it. One of the things that can happen during the face-off stats is that the team that touches it first gets the win, regardless of what direction it goes. So our flanks have to do a better job in helping our centers. But that being said, our centers have to bear down more. And, a face-off is a battle. It's an absolute battle. And, we've just got to be better on the dots. We've got to understand if we're not having a great night, just not lose it. The approach is huge when you're trying to win a face-off or just not lose it, and it really is a team effort. It really is a team effort, and it's something we worked on today.